Hey guys, how's it going? I guess we're all excited for the next Spider-Verse film, especially since the last one just got released on digital, and somehow there are still things that I can talk about with this movie. With that being said, please recommend some topics you want me to discuss before I run out. But for this video, I'll be making some predictions as well as kind of doing a little fanboy pre-write of the next movie. I don't know, I just want to make a list of things that we might see in the next movie. Also, I want to give a disclaimer that I started school recently and that's why uploads have been slowing down. Spider-Verse videos already took 3 days during the summer, so add school on top of that and they can take even longer. The people who have been commenting on my community posts and my non-Spider-Verse videos have been really supportive of this, and I just want to thank y'all so much for understanding. And I want to thank you guys for 6k subscribers. Now, let's get into the video. First, I want to predict what the plot might be like. I'm not sure if this is all in the right order, but it's just a few things we might see. So this is my boldest part of the theory, but I think the movie will start with the Spot saying let's do this one last time. He talks about how Spider-Man ruined his life, but thanks to this, he became the most powerful person in the multiverse. Now everyone notices him, no one laughs at him, and then he wreaks havoc on Brooklyn. He does some petty stuff like putting cats in trees or making someone's car fall on top of a building continuously. Maybe they'd even include that one deleted concept of him walking into the bar with no name and beating up all the villains in there. Just some silly stuff. From there, the film will include Jeff seeing the destruction, maybe on TV, so he calls Miles to make sure he's okay. But he's not picking up. Then, Jeff starts wondering where Spider-Man is and why he's not stopping the Spot. He maybe even makes a comment on how they should have caught the bad guy in the first place. And simultaneously, he and the Spot both say, "Where is Spider-Man?" This is where it cuts to Miles versus Wiles. Side note, I'm calling him Wiles because it's like Mario and Wario, and that's what they call him in the production or whatever, so Miles G. Morales will be known as Wiles in this video. Anyway, we know Miles is tied up right now, but he can electrify the chains. Miles breaks out of the chains after talking to Wiles, and he says, "Don't watch the mouth, watch the hands." Miles might escape from here, I don't know, but at some point, they sort out their differences, maybe in a fight. I just think it would be cool watching Uncle Aaron and Wiles fight together just to see what an alternate Prowler might be like. Miles has trouble with Wiles in the fight, but they both have a nice fighting style that's visually interesting to look at. Eventually though, he chats it up with Wiles and maybe this is where we see his backstory. That's where we can see that previs footage of him that was going around. The one where he was swinging through the city trying to steal medicine for his mom. He's an anti-hero. Oh, and perhaps Wiles is like, "I need your help to get this drug from the Sinister Cartel," and we get to see alternate versions of the Sinister Six. Meanwhile, there are multiple people looking for Spider-Man, like Miguel O'Hara and his gang. Spider-Woman might report back to Spidey 2099, and when he asks where Scarlet Spider is, we cut to some little gag scene where he's narrating himself inside of a cartoon land. Anyways, Jessica Drew says she doesn't think Miles is in 1610, and that he got sent to another universe since his DNA is wacko. I don't know. The point of the scene is that Jess doesn't rat out Gwen for escaping into the Spider-Verse with a new watch, but maybe somehow she mentions Gwen, and we cut to her next. So the scene starts with us visiting the Web Warriors, and in a long dolly take, we scroll through all of them and see them talk and interact. And then it cuts to Gwen. She's sitting there. She's remembering back to how Miles looked at her before he said goodbye. And Peter puts his hand on her shoulder, asking her if she's okay. She regrets what she did, and Peter says he does too, but they'll make it up to him. Miles is a good kid. Well, a great man. Gwen agrees, and it should be a really cute scene to watch. Just these two people who really love Miles are really going out of their way to go help him out because they knew they did wrong and they want to fix it. From here, she might rally up her band and get them ready to head into the Spider-Verse to find Miles, and the opening credits would roll from here. Now, that's just the beginning of the movie. I don't want to think about everything that happens because then I might be disappointed if things don't come true, or if things do come true. I want to experience the movie as fresh as I can. However, here are some things I think could also happen. 2099 of the Web Warriors might finally make it to Earth 42. They see Spider-Man swinging and he lands on a rooftop. Let's say Miguel corners him and has a super high-tech DNA tracker that says this is Miles Morales. He takes off the mask and it's Wiles. Now Wiles smirks, and since Miguel doesn't have spider sense, Miles swoops in dressed as a Prowler and drop kicks him. This is sort of symbolizing how Miles was supposed to become Prowler and Wiles was meant to become Spider-Man. Then Miles steals Miguel's watch and he says goodbye to Wiles. I don't know, maybe they have a nice salute, or Miles might even give him something that Jeff gave him one time so that Wiles will have something of his father's. Now though, Miles has truly learned to live without fear and accept himself for who he is. Literally. He is Spider-Man, but most importantly, he can be whoever he wants to be. He can do his own thing. He can be a good guy who's dressed like the Prowler, and he even gets to dap up Uncle Aaron one last time. Oh, and Miles shows us that you don't need to be Spider-Man to be a hero. Anyways, Miles turns on the watch and heads to, well, I don't know where. To be honest, in a deleted scene, they told Miles which universe number is his, but I'm not sure if he even knows that his world is called 1610. So we'll just hold off on that for now. I think there will be a scene where Miguel's gang realizes that they weren't bitten by a radioactive spider, thus making their canon event logic kinda BS. Especially since 2 of the 3 don't even have spider sense. Ben Reilly is a clone, Miguel puts the venom inside of him, and Jess is... Well anyways, this would make them less of a Spider-Man than Miles, which makes no sense since they're all spiders, except for 616 Jess. Look, I don't know what she's doing here, she's only associated with the spiders by her name. But anyways, there will definitely be a moment where canon events are proven wrong. Maybe this is after Miles reunites with Gwen, and that's when Miguel joins the Web Warriors to stop the Spot. This would be near the end of the movie where we get to our third to last comic cover that looks like this. Speaking of Miles and Gwen reuniting, you should check out my Gwen video for more specifics on Ghostflower, but I think we should go through this one more time because it'll be important later. There were hints online that this movie would have multiple versions of Gwen, so I think this might happen by her going on her own in the multiverse to find Miles. Maybe they all split up, I don't know. Maybe she finds Miles Morales or something. But I think they may adapt Spider-Gwen Volume 6, the comic, where she meets Earth 617 Gwen and has a big character moment there. In that story, Gwen jumps off the bridge, breaking the cycle of Gwen falling off the bridge to her doom. Powerless Gwen also motivates Gwen 65 to make some changes in her life after having a lot of dread. The only thing about this though is Gwen in the movies isn't exactly stuck. She has a new goal, but I think they may show a form of Powerless Gwen where Gwen Stacy of 65 could alter that Gwen's future to where she doesn't fall off that bridge anymore. I don't know if they do the thing where she creates a new universe by talking to 616 Gwen and making her 617, but it would be cool to see Gwen make such an impact and break a cycle or canon event. Moreover, I think she could meet another Gwen who's older. She's also in Spider-Gwen Volume 6. She might talk to Gwen and maybe Gwen will use these words to Miguel later, quoting the book saying, "You know better than anyone that the map of existence is a web. Some strands overlapping, sharing a moment, an intersection, an inspiration." She might go on to say that one must break a cycle to ensure the future remains unwritten. Also, maybe this older Gwen might have her symbiote suit and reference the secret council of Gwens that like to go to brunch together. Finally, one other version of Gwen we might see would be an older one too. This one is a lot more happier and patient with Gwen 65, determined that she should mend her relationship back with Miles. Perhaps our Gwen already encountered Miles and it didn't go well, and this is when she gets lost in the multiverse and comes across these Gwens. Anyways, this specific Gwen tells Gwen of 65 that she should always keep the people she loves close to her. You never know how much they've impacted your life until they're not in it anymore. And maybe she'll learn how they will impact her life. And that's where this alternate Gwen might fiddle with the ring on her finger. Gwen 65 leaves again in the same fashion as she left her father, once again learning a valuable lesson. And we linger on this alternate Gwen for a moment. Then we get some hint that this is Gwen of Earth 8, and she's married to Miles and has kids with him in the future. Anyways, this finally inspires Gwen to make things right with Miles, and she catches up to him, knowing that he's on Earth 1610 by now. Maybe he's about to reveal his secret identity to his parents, but the Spot is going crazy, and oh, would you look at the time! Miles' father is supposed to become police captain today, so Miles has a realistic panic attack, you know, the ones in all the animated movies. But guess who shows up? Gwen and the Web Warriors. Well, the Web Warriors go fight the Spot, but Gwen comes to save Miles. She hugs him, and it's enough to get him out of the panic attack. She apologizes for what she did in the last movie, and she says some really nice things. I don't know what romantic things will happen here, but I think it'll be really cute. And it'll inspire Miles to start fighting again. Maybe Gwen holds his hand and helps him up or something, and they get closer and closer until Miguel shows up. Or somebody interrupts, but let's just say it's Miguel. He shows up and Miles is ready to square up. But at this point, Miguel has learned from his old ways, and he still wants to uphold the Spider Society's purpose, which is dedicated to the security of the multiverse. So he joins the fight against the Spot. For Miguel's arc, I think he might come across the Master Weaver and learn the lesson that the future must remain unwritten, or maybe Gwen will tell him. Anyways, I think somewhere in the fight against the Spot, Gwen and Miles start throwing punches, but it doesn't go well. and not wanting to see Gwen get hurt, Miles tells her to back off. He's gonna try something that might beat the Spot. Gwen stops him though, sort of like she did on the bridge in the last movie. She's genuinely worried for him, but she tells him not to go because he doesn't have to do it alone anymore. She wants to be with him. In the important ways, of course. Anyways, they have a cool fight with combo moves, but the main kicker is that they have to cure the Spot. Seriously, I want you guys to watch my video on the Spot because I don't have a lot of time to explain it all again. But essentially, Miles can learn how to fix Jonathan Owen's condition. And if you don't know, Jonathan Owen is a scientist who is the Spot. Basically, they don't beat the Spot by punching him or kicking him, but by forgiving him. They'll seek redemption since it is technically Miles' fault that he became who he was. I think the whole lesson of this movie will be forgiveness. Forgiving Gwen for keeping secrets, forgiving Miguel for misinterpreting the multiverse, and forgiving the Spot for messing up the multiverse. Once you boil it down, all of these characters have reasons for why they did these things. And maybe they just need a good old therapy sesh. I swear it'll all make sense if you watch the Spot video. I'll put it in the outro of this video and I'll put it on the corner of the screen. Anyways, some other things I want to mention is that this will be a Gwen and Miles movie, giving a lot of time to them, as well as a good chunk to Miguel. Peter B. Parker won't be a big role just like he was in the last movie, but he'll still be significant. Oh, and that hammer that Spider-Ham gave Miles in Into the Spider-Verse might come to play in this movie. And we might see some cool Mecha Neon Genesis Evangelion inspired action sequences from Penny Parker. Also, I think once the fight with the Spot ends, they will all say goodbye, but Gwen will be very hesitant. Miles doesn't want her to leave, and she doesn't want to leave either. He says her name before she enters the portal, and she stops for a moment, then rushes to kiss him. This is her putting a bow on their little love story. Miles initiated it all the way back Into the Spider-Verse with the shoulder touch, and Gwen engages it with a kiss. In fact, we could say Gwen had some connection with him already because her spider sense told her to meet him a week before he even became Spider-Man. These two were just meant for each other. Maybe they don't have to say goodbye just yet. So from here, Gwen might pull Miles into her portal, and as a gag, Miles has his mask off the whole time during their kiss, and Jeff sees it, and he's shocked. Identity revealed! And maybe you think Jeff is about to ground Miles, but in reality, Jeff is just happy to see Miles has friends. And he's also happy to see that the spark inside of him has become electrifyingly amazing. However, this all happens if it's a happy ending, but there are some people speculating that Rio could die. I'm not saying it's impossible, but I'm not sure how Miles would take that. Now, if she did die and Miles got sad, Gwen could comfort him and maybe he could reveal his identity to his father around this time and we'd get a similar ending. Maybe. But let's continue with that other ending. Perhaps there's a time skip at the end of this movie where Miles and Gwen both say, "Let's do this one last time. For real this time." And they might even recite the same thing Miles said in the first movie, saying something like, "Whenever I feel alone, I know that I'm not because I have who I need right beside me." And it shows Miles and Gwen cuddling or something. Maybe some montages might be of Gwen doing ballet for Miles, and Miles teaching Gwen how to spray paint. Maybe even a further time skip where they're older and have kids, but that's not guaranteed. They can just get together and kiss and be happy and feel loved, and I would sleep every night with a smile on my face just knowing that. Oh, but I really just want a shot of Miles and Gwen sitting and relaxing together, or like a final pose. I don't know, I just want the outro to be something really cute with them together. Maybe the two jump off a rooftop in Into the Spider-Verse style, and it cuts to them laying on the bed together, and Gwen kisses him, and Miles is happy, and thank God we got the best superhero trilogy of all time. Now for some lightning round predictions. I think Jessica Drew will seek forgiveness from Gwen. There is a chance Emma Stone's Gwen will appear in this movie. Maybe there's an idea somewhere that involves older Mayday swinging with Max and Charlie Morales Stacy after a time skip. And Miguel will maybe find a wife? I don't know, bro is a part of the Ham Force right now. Also, I think they should include Silk and maybe Christopher Daniel Barnes as Spidey in this movie. Silk because Sony wanted to make a series for her on Amazon and this would be a good way to introduce her to the general audience. Also, she would fit well for a Spider-Woman spin-off movie because I know she's in the comic Event, although I never actually read that comic, so don't quote me on that. And Christopher Daniel Barnes Spidey because he's dealt with the Spot before and can give some tips on how to beat him, which I explained in my Spot video. And I think a Master Weaver will show up in this movie like Spider-Zero or something. I completely forgot about the Master Weaver when making my Spot video, but yeah, I think someone could show up. But hey, this is all just a theory. None of this could happen and I'd be perfectly fine with it. I'm just so excited for this movie, but who knows when it'll come out. especially since studios don't want to pay their actors and writers fairly. And to be honest, all I can hope for is more Gwen content. Speaking of that, I just read the Gwenverse comic, which was really cute. Wow, I love that word today. Anyways, I think it would be interesting to see Gwen talk to multiple versions of herself, so I really hope they do that in the next movie. Now I've got to read Shadow Clones in this 2022 run of Miles Morales since apparently it's really good. I just hope they announce the Spider-Gwen spinoff is still happening because it seems like it will eventually happen. But eventually means nothing if there isn't even an idea for a script yet. Also, like I said earlier and in my last video, school is starting to pile up and I'm gonna be in a couple plays this year. So once those start, just know that uploads will slow down. Also, I have like one more Spider-Verse video planned. So if there are any other topics you guys want me to discuss, please let me know in the comments below. With that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any theories you want to share that I didn't mention in this video, drop them below. Feel free to binge every video in my Spider-Verse playlist. I've made a lot by now. Please leave a like, subscribe if you're new, remember that it's always Big American Cheeseburger time, and I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for helping my channel grow, and peace out. Damn, baby, come jump off the roof with me, live up your youth.